This is the iPhone 6s. This came out in 2015. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This came out in 2021. Even if you're a normie, I would not suggest using this phone. It is just too old and too slow. However, if you're somebody who doesn't even know what a 120 hertz screen is, the only thing that you should care about is that your apps aren't crashing and you have enough storage space for your photos. You absolutely do not need to upgrade to the latest and greatest every single year. But people, it kills me when I see people just like juggling photos and they're like, oh, I don't have any space to take any photos anymore. In a lot of cases, that is this thing's only job, is to be able to take photos. And when people just live with these problems like, I've only got 64 gigabytes of space, so I can only take a couple of photos every day, and then I have to go back and delete some precious memories. Don't do that to yourself. Also, especially if you're not tech savvy, you should get the cloud storage. It's not that expensive and it moves all of the full res versions onto the cloud and you just have low res versions on your phone. So even if you only have 64 gigabytes on your phone, you can still actually have all of your photos. For regular people, the days of a phone upgrade making any difference probably stopped around 2017. If you've got a phone from 6 years ago and you still have adequate space and there's no glaring problems with the phone, there is no reason to upgrade. For myself personally, there's lots of different things that I want, and I always want the latest and greatest. But when I actually make the plunge and make a change, probably one of the main factors is the video quality. I mean, the video quality on this old iPhone 6s, it's probably still passable. Like if this was the only camera I had, I'd be like, okay, that's cool, I'll use it. But they have made leaps and bounds in video quality since then. And this iPhone 13 Pro has such good video quality that in lots of scenarios, the convenience and stealthiness of filming with my phone just outweighs the benefits of the increase in video quality that you get from a big camera. But man, the difference between a real full frame camera and one of these, this gulf is still kind of big, and I just feel like physics is a big problem to overcome. But anyways, year to year, if the video quality doesn't improve that much, I'm able to resist. The last time I upgraded my phone was because of the 120 hertz screen. That was one of the last big upgrade jumps that I was really looking forward to. So the 14 and the 15, I'm like, man, they'd be nice to have, but I don't super need them. Now, I suspect that if you're a normal, well-adjusted person, you have never given this much thought. It's only people like me who have a problem, and every time something new comes out, you're like, oh man, look, you can, there's like one more millimeter of hair follicles or something. But my mom and I have joked before that she is the personality type that can just ignore problems. I used to call it like just her inability to dodge spears. There's like all these problems that are just coming along. And instead of like figuring out a good solution to the spears being thrown at her, she's just really good at just taking the spear right in the leg and then continuing on and just being like, yeah, I'm used to it now. In conclusion, if you're not a huge nerd like me, just ask yourself, is the thing that I'm using actually fulfilling my needs? And am I really saving money by just torturing myself like this? Yeah, you're probably saving a little bit of money, but is it worth the torture that you're putting yourself through? Dost thou remember when we used to have a computer in the kitchen that looked like this, and then I side graded to this computer over here? That was a case where upgrading was completely unnecessary. It was consumerism run amok, but it still was kind of fun, and I'm still kind of glad I got it anyway. But this iMac from 2013, even now, as long as there's an SSD in there, this thing is like a beauty, which by the way, I don't know if there is an SSD in here. This, by the way, is from one of your fellow viewers, Jared, one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. He's always like, yo, I got this old thing. Do you need it or want it? He actually gave this to my mom, and she's gonna use it kind of like as a dedicated work computer. Let's see what's going on with this thing. I have no idea. I don't even know what year this is. Is this a 2013? It's probably a 2013, right? Okay, obviously it works. Let's set this up. Wow, this screen, these bezels, some big bezels. Okay, so the goal is to back up this computer onto this computer, and then she can have a separate setup in the other room with just this work stuff on here. So I will take care of that, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. So do you remember the other day when I said I rented an A7R5 just for the fun of it? It has arrived. Hacha! Oh, that is an interesting looking screen. Okay, well, I really don't want to waste any time just like talking about the physical dimensions of it. I just want to see what the footage looks like immediately. Also, check this screen out. Not only can you do something like this, but you can also do this. Man, every camera needs a screen like that. Holy moly, that is fantastic. Let's put this lens on here, and then let's put this bad boy in 8K and let's start filming. Okay, now unfortunately when you shoot at 8K, you get a little bit of a crop, so the frame is a little bit tighter, like there's less in the frame. But I think the detail is going to be incredible. I've shot at 8K before with the Sony A1 when I rented that. That is a very expensive camera, and if that had a flippy screen, I'd still think it was worth it. But it does not, this one does. Now the other disadvantage of this camera's 8K is something called rolling shutter. Watch what happens when I open this door. It's gonna look like the door is made of Jell-O. You see that? That happens because the actual sensor itself, it has to read it line by line. And if it reads it too slowly, by the time it gets to the bottom, it's already read out the top a little while ago, and this thing has subsequently moved from where it was when it read out the top. Does that make sense? See, the thing is with Sony, every time they release a new camera, there's certain aspects where it's better, and then there's other aspects where it's worse. The camera I'm currently using is pound for pound the best camera that they make, in my opinion. It has everything you want at like maximum performance. 120 frames per second, perfect rolling shutter, pretty good image stabilization, great battery life, great picture quality. This came out in October of 2020, and I still don't think they've bested it. But this camera I just rented has a bunch of advantages. Higher resolution photos, 8K video, a better screen, and apparently better video stabilization. That is important to me. So I wanna test all of those things. For right now, I really wanna look at this footage and see what it looks like. Okay, it looks very good. 8K is probably still a party trick at this point, but one of the advantages is that you can zoom in with no quality loss. So for instance, if I was further away from the screen, like maybe back here, you could zoom in on me and it would still be 4K quality easily. But yeah, you know, another thing that I'm really looking forward to testing out is the image stabilization. How does this look? You know, just from looking at the screen, it looks quite smooth. The A7S III was no slouch as it was, but this looks like it could be pretty nice. This screen is much better. Like, I can see details and it's much brighter and clearer. Yeah, but that lack of 4K 120, man, I'm telling you, it's always compromises. You're like, oh, it's got this, but it doesn't have this. It's got this, but it doesn't have that. Also, by the way, we're shooting at 4K right now because to do the active steady shot, you have to be in 4K. And also, if you shot in 8K with this bad rolling shutter performance, let's switch over to 8K and then see what a jello-y mess the image becomes. So not only do you lose the active stabilization, but just look at, like, if you shake the camera at all, just everything is just wobbling all over the place. It makes somebody sick. Okay, that'll do it for today though. Thank you very much for watching. Also, in other fun news, Adventure Archives has achieved 200,000 subscribers. You'd think I'd be more excited about it, but the 100,000 mark was just such a milestone, and I just thought we would never get there. And then when we finally got there, I was like, oh man, okay, I've achieved all of my life's goals. Now, will we ever achieve 1 million subscribers? Considering how long it took us to get to this point, things aren't looking that hopeful. But thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. Much more than the subscriber numbers, I feel like how much people enjoy the videos and the messages people send and how much we've actually like reached people, that means way more to me than these numbers, because I've seen channels with millions of subscribers and people do not care about the videos the same way that people care about our videos. So thank you. That's what I really care about. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good one. See you in the next one. This is the iPhone 6S. This came out in 2017. Is that right? We'll find out.